Hi guys, okay, so today I'm going to be talking about the EdTalk number 5, which is looking at the teaching the standards, how to blend Common Core state standards into the secondary instruction. The first thing that I kind of wanted to touch on was its mentioning of the Common Core in the specifically in the secondary education setting. I found the visual of the triangle helpful because it has the goals, strategies, and the assessment like all very interlinked and connected, and then you can't have one without the other. It just wouldn't be a stable structure. So I thought that was really interesting and evident in even my own practices as a student teacher right now, is that this is the goal that you're looking for, this is the strategy you're going to use to get there, this is the assessment that you're going to use to say, did they understand? Did I give them the skills through this standard and through these strategies to get them to what I expect at the end? So that's just a reminder to ourselves to really hone in on, is this Common Core standard being addressed and assessed in my students? So that visual was very straightforward and easy to remember and to think back at. The next thing that I thought was really interesting is that the cooperative groups. So in science, we use a lot of cooperative groups. Group learning is a very important thing in science because you're never going to make this huge discovery, or not never, but it's less likely to be able to do all of the stuff that the science world does on your own without even like talking to other people, getting other people's input, anything like that. So we use cooperative groups quite a lot, and there was something in there on page 20 that says it's never going to be a simple solution. It's never going to be, oh, I'm just going to stick this student over here in this cooperative group and it's going to work out just fine. So really thinking about, will these students work well together? Do I have a high achieving student, a low achieving student, a couple in the middle, or do I have all my high achieving students in the same group all the time? Yes, you can put all of your high achieving students in the same group all the time sometimes, but not, sorry I said that weird, but only once in a while. Like, you want them to be able to do that when they want to create something interesting and really creative about themselves, but most of the time I want them to be intertwined with the rest of their classmates to really gain that classroom culture and mentality, and to help out other students with them. Also, my lower achieving students just may not be as interested in the subject of it, so maybe that's gonna sort of inspire them to bring that up, and especially with those cooperative role jobs, they're going to know exactly what they need to do to achieve their points, and they're going to know exactly what they need to do to be a good component of their cooperative group. They're not just going to be on the wayside getting points without doing anything. That is not going to fly. So cooperative groups are very interesting, definitely something that I work on all the time, trying to figure out who's going to work best with who, and I like to switch it up so that you don't just know 3 or 4 people in their classroom, but they know pretty much everybody throughout the year. The next thing that I thought was really interesting was on page 32, we talked about how students learn. How do they actually gain information, relearn information, unlearn bad information and skills, and incorporate new skills and new information that we give them. I think that was really interesting and very applicable to some of the other readings that we were doing, and just how we are teaching day to day. The last thing that I thought was very interesting was the lesson planning. There was a template on page 50, and it was very different from other lesson plans that I've seen before and used before, and in the same way it's very similar because it has an objective and what are you going to do to get there. But the layout was very different. I want to try to use one of those, use that for one of my coming lessons, just to kind of see if it is doing what it needs to be doing, and if that one might work better for me. So I thought that was interesting. I always love another lesson plan template. I use a lot of different ones, and my math teacher is very approval of that. She's always like, here, use this template, see if it works better for you. So I find that interesting, and overall the text was interesting. The first section gave a lot of information. Common Core, I'm still kind of not necessarily a fan of, necessarily like a unfan of, but we will see. We'll see how it will pan out. Alright guys, thanks for watching and see you later.